So, welcome to the Scrapbook of Life with Theresa Khalil, a podcast on my journey to understand life, solve its mystery, and live it fully. And on my journey, I met Ligita Nasitskate. When I first met her, she was a butterfly, but now she is a betterfly. Being born with a different looks and a deep thinking mind was challenging. She lost her faith and herself. It took her 30 years to feel good about her looks and 12 years of a conscious journey to rediscover her way to faith, her authentic self, and even help others to do so. So, Lily, welcome to the Scrapbook of Life.
Hi Teresa, thank you so much. It was such a beautiful introduction. I got chills all over my body.
I'm really excited to document your life story because it's very special. And I'm also curious to know how do you explain this experience of existence. So, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Come, and with me, flip through the pages of the Scrapbook of Life. Let me start first with how I know you. So, about 6 years ago, there was this event in Croatia where I was a book. So, I have a long journey with online dating and trying to find love and my life partner. And I wrote a book about it. It's so far in Arabic, but I'm rewriting it in English. But at the time, the idea was that I am the book and people can come and talk to me about my journey and online dating and all that. And you were a book as well.
Yes, I was a book, and my story of that book was about a dance school of butterfly. At that time, I was representing my dance school, and later on, the concept of butterfly developed into a butterfly.
This we will talk about. But you were this book where people can also talk to you, and that's how we got to know each other.
Yes.
Now, let me document your life story. I usually start with the birth, the beginning of every human being as far as we know. And I want you to tell me about your birth story. How was the world at that time? How was your family? What was the circumstances? If you know, how was the delivery also? So your birth story in a nutshell.
Okay, so my birth story starts in Lithuania, in the city of Kaunas, and I come from a family of three brothers. I'm the only sister, and I'm the second one from the oldest. I remember that we lived for maybe first 6 or 7 years in a very small apartment, like one room apartment, like five of us. And I born in very strictly religious Christian family, where going to church every Sunday was obligation, and that's what I got used to. That's what I learned how life is, and that was my first contact with God. When it comes to pregnancy, it's a very interesting story actually. Um, very recently, I got a chance to remember what happened in the belly when I was there and my mom was pregnant with me. So, when my mom was pregnant with me, she experienced a really difficult emotional trauma that affected my development as well. And as a result of that, I born with some complications. I born without the joints of the jaw, so I couldn't move, and I still can't move my jaw. Then the bones of lower jaw just simply didn't grow, so all the rest body was developing while that part of the jaw didn't. and it really started threatening my life. As a child, I was suffocating. I was at the edge of death for so many times, and my dad with my mom, they were literally changing shifts at night just to stay awake, because every night I was suffocating, so somebody had to hold me up so it doesn't happen. So that's my first memories of my childhood, and it was a bit different because I didn't go to the kindergarten because of my health conditions. And my parents really did the best to protect me from life circumstances when it comes to my health. If not doctors from USA, if not a famous basketball player in those times, Sharunas Marčiulionis, if not all of those beautiful people, I would be dead now. So they literally helped me to go to USA to have surgery so I can continue living. And I've been there 2 times, and yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, so the beginning was not easy.
Not easy, but as I say, I was really persistent to come into this life.
And then you started growing up. So tell me about the childhood. So you were brought up Catholic, right?
Yes,
Christian Catholic.
I was raised as a Christian Catholic, and my first encounter that I do remember with the figure of Jesus happened when I was 5 years old. Literally every time when I was going to the church, I remember that every time I was experiencing very deep, very profound emotions when I saw Jesus being on the cross and all of those statues, in the church when Jesus is like almost dead on Saint Mary's arms. It really, I took it very deeply into my heart, all of that story of killing him. And I was even crying in church. Imagine 4 years girl sitting and crying in church.
Yeah.
When I was 5 years old, I remember my mom left to the shop to buy butter for lunch, and there was nobody to be with me. So she made a deal with me that, Lily, please, I need to go to buy. Can you stay alone for 10 minutes? And I was like, well, yeah, okay, I will stay. And she left. And because we were living in the apartment that I really felt not safe there, because later with my mom we were talking when I was adult that she also saw some ghosts and she felt that some energies live there, some ghosts. I felt the same way when I saw the corridor, so I was very afraid to stay at home. But I ran to the kitchen, sat on the window sill, and was looking down to people. And I just was so afraid to look back to that corridor that I just locked myself in one position and I started talking with God. I was like, God, Jesus. And Jesus at that time was my best friend, my invisible friend. Every child probably has some invisible friends. And I was like, started dialogue with him. And I was like, Jesus, Jesus, when my mommy will come back, I'm so afraid I miss her. And believe it or no, but I started receiving very calm and very solid adult style answers that were soothing my heart, that were making me feel comfortable and safe. And I give a question, I get the answer. I give a question, I get the answer. And those answers was nothing like childlike. That's why I know that it wasn't my makeup of my mind. And I didn't notice when, but my mom came back and I'm just running to her arms like, Mommy, Mommy, I was just talking with Jesus. So that was my first encounter.
You believe it, and you even have your own experience.
Yes.
And then I guess it was difficult at school. Have you been? Did you go to school as well, or you were homeschooled?
I went to school because I didn't need to have like a day nap in the school, so I was okay already to go to the school. And then when I went to school, actually Jesus was following me everywhere where I went, and I went to the school of Jesuits school. It's called, if I pronounce it well. So it was also a Catholic school, Christian school, so I continued that path. Just as more I was growing up, as less I started resonating with those teachings of what I heard in church. And in my teenage times, actually, I quit on Christianity. I was very rebellious, and one of the main reasons why I quit was because I didn't see that example in my family. Even though my family was very religious, but after they used to come back from the church, behind the closed doors was nothing like Christianity teaches. So it really messed up with my mind and with my heart. So why am I forced to believe something that people who insist me to believe that actually are not the example of what they believe in? So I started rebelling, and I said no to Jesus. I said no to Christianity. I said no to all the church. And for some time, I was living in ignorance.
Agnostic.
Yes. But it was a very necessary part of my journey because I discovered so much, all possible different religions. I was so curious in what's more in life, what's more in the world. It can't be that only Christianity is the only true way. So my curiosity, because I have been very curious from very early age, and I was that type of person who was going against any authority. So I was going against my parents by questioning them, by questioning their beliefs, questioning their behavior. Then I was questioning in the school authorities. So it wasn't easy with me because of my curiosity. And as a result of that, I discovered many different religions. I embarked on that journey of discovery, and actually, I discovered that there is one truth that all religions are talking about. And that truth, how I see, is love. And for me, God is love. And for me, God speaks through the heart. And that's why I'm still very close. I'm again in a close relationship with Jesus. I came back to the memory of our connection. And that's why I understand his teachings differently than what I hear in the church. For example, those photos where he is with holding his heart in his hand, all the messages are spinning around becoming like a child. Even the verses in the Bible says something along the lines that I tell you, if you change and become like children, you will enter the kingdom of God. So the reference to that verses, I understand that when you remember how it feels to be a child who wanders, who imagines, who doesn't know, whose mind doesn't know what the limits are, who believes in everything that they can do, can achieve, and you can feel the final result of that, this is how you create a heaven on earth. Because that's what manifests, the feeling manifests. And I find it in other religions as well, told in different language, in different way, but underlying message always comes down to the same truth. Even the law of attraction, that could be New Age religion, right? Could be seen like that. Also says about the same. Knock and doors will be open. Ask and you shall receive the answer. And it's also all about manifestations. And I can tell the example because I was consciously discovering, and I'm still discovering, the principles of manifestation. So literally, can I share the story how I manifested a very huge thing in my life?
Okay.
And that's how I understood that I connected dots, that's exactly what Jesus was talking about, because literally Jesus was a mystic at those times, and he went to a mystic school that Bible is not talking about, and he was the best student there. This information comes from the parts of the Bible that are discovered quite recently. And when it comes to manifestation, the law of attraction also says, imagine with your mind's eye, imagine the situation what you want to experience in life, and then feel it as if you already have it. And then let it go. Let go of the question how and when. And just remember that feeling, how good it felt, seeing yourself having that. So when I was in my very low state after a breakup in Croatia, I was dreaming my ex for day and night, like she was in my mind day and night. I couldn't relax, and I started begging God, like, please give me at least 5 minutes of rest from those thoughts and those feelings. And suddenly I bumped into one song that took my attention, and I was like, okay, what does it mean, Kso, beyond Kso? And I started listening, and then I heard the Zouk song, Zouk beat. Who knows the dance of Zouk? And I thought, okay, if this pop song has a Zouk beat, probably somebody is dancing that dance on that song. I googled, and yes, there was a guy from New York with a very beautiful lady dancing on that song, and that song was my escape for 5 minutes. That became more than 5 minutes. Every time my attention was focused on that song. And when I was watching that video, I was literally imagining myself dancing with that guy. I felt butterflies in my belly. I felt fire in my blood, passion. I felt even wind in my hair. It was so much love and excitement in that process of imagining myself there. And guess what? 1 year later, by the way, that video was recorded, that guy dancer is from New York, and the video was in Times Square. After 1 year, by accident, that very famous worldwide dancer from New York Times Square by accident appeared to be in my apartment in Zagreb.
Oh,
Yeah.
how is that?
How is that? That's how it goes. I didn't have any intention to have it. I didn't have any thought that, oh, I don't have it. I was just enjoying the present moment, and it was enough for me. Because first...
Yeah, I have similar experiences as well with manifestation.
Yes.
And it is true what you say. So it is, you just decide what you want. It's a decision. And then you feel it as if it's happening. And then you let go. And that's the most difficult part.
It is. But you know what is tricky in why usually people miss their manifestations is when a manifestation comes to their life, if it doesn't look how they wanted, they skip it. But the important is to recognize the feeling. Does it feel exactly the same how I experienced in my imagination. Because people stick to how it looks, and that's the mistake.
But in your manifestation with this guy, it was him.
Yeah, it was him, because it was that situation. I was very specific. It could have been different situation, but yeah,
And you told him? You told him the story?
I told him, and it was so funny because I didn't recognize him from the beginning. We went to the party because I was organizing some events, Zouk dance events with them in 2017 in Zagreb. And after the party, we went to some pizzeria to eat. And I was like, hey, wait a second, you're from New York, right? She's right. I'm like, I will show you the video. Maybe you know that guy because dance community knows everybody there. And I showed him the video. Like I was like, do you know this guy? And he looks to me, Lily, but that's me. And can you imagine my reaction? I started hysterically crying and laughing at the same time. I couldn't speak. I was blown out. Yeah.
Okay, so you started this journey to understand life, and you were exposed to many beliefs and religions and views, and now you have this view that it is a mixture of Christianity. So you still believe in Jesus, but you also believe in manifestation
Yes,
and let's say New Age views.
Yes. For me, New Age, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, I don't see division in that. I see as a whole unity, one unity, talking about the same thing. And some beliefs from New Age, I dismantled that my heart didn't approve. And that's how I live now. When something comes to my awareness, ideology, belief, a person, a situation, whatever, I check with my heart. Does it feel right? Not if it feels good, because not always what feels good is right, but does it feel right in my spirit? If no, it means that belief is mental. It didn't come from spirit, because spirit speaks through the heart. So that's how now I'm sorting out what is based on the mind and what is based on the heart.
Okay, let me go back to your school time. So you started going to school, and was it hard because you were different?
And yes and no. It was hard because I still saw those, looks of children at me, like who were staring. But because it was safe environment in that school, authorities made sure that there is no bullying. And thanks God, I experienced only once, and it was a very soft one. But still, I sensed everything. And only now, a few years ago, I realized that I am a very high telepath, that I am able to feel the thoughts and feel the emotions of other people. So literally, I felt all of that, everybody's opinions about me. And what I did to protect myself was I created a self-defense mechanism, my own bubble. I stopped looking to the eyes of people. I started living in my daydreams. I was dreaming a lot, daydreaming a lot. And that's how I disconnected from this world. And I spent most of my life in the spiritual realms, in those communications with Jesus, with other entities, and my angels. And yeah, that's how it was. Not easy because I couldn't adapt to my social groups. I felt like outcaster because people, my folks, they didn't want somebody who was a good girl, who was following what's right to do, because in teenage times it was common to break those rules, yeah, to go to smoke, to go party. And while my folks were having fun in that way, I found fun in reading books about hidden civilizations, about mystery, about cults, and that was my way of living. And it was hard because I never felt that I belonged. So this was a hard part.
And what did you study? What was your education?
My first studies that I really wanted, but I didn't succeed to enter, was interior design. I went for 1 year to prepare to some courses of painting, drawing, but I realized I hate drawing, but I love painting. But now, yeah, now I do it interior design by myself without studies, and I'm really good in that. Second study was culture management that I struggled to finish. I finally finished it from third time or maybe fourth. And finally, third time, I found what I felt passionate about, and it's public relations.
Oh, this is like out of your bubble.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what helped me actually to get out of my bubble. I was protecting myself from people, but then I found comfort in connecting with people.
So this is a new thing you are studying, or you
I
finished
already
studying?
finished that.
Okay, let's talk about the career. I see you changed also your career few times. So take me on the journey of your careers.
Oh, okay. I can tell like that when it comes to my career, I was always following my heart. What I felt I want to do, I was doing. And actually, now when I see, thanks to those rejections from society that didn't allow me to work what usually people work, like I couldn't get a job of a waiter, of a bartender, like those regular jobs, student jobs, because I was constantly being rejected because of my looks, that people were afraid of how I look. So I had to be creative and find the ways how to support myself financially. So I was simply following my heart. Okay, if I can't do what I don't like, then I will do what I do like. So I started with, wait a second, what was that? First, it was freelancing. I started immediately with the freelancing. First, I had some jobs, like cleaning jobs, that I was not a fan of. Then I went on my own and I started freelancing and creating texts for people, digital, like intuitive digital copywriter. I was helping other businesses to communicate the message to the world because I am really good in writing. And my first teacher at school, first grade, she told to all parents, all students, that you will see when Lily grows up, she will be a famous writer. Because she was taking my articles to write in front of everybody. That's something that I'm really passionate about. So yeah, that was my job. Digital copywriting. Then I went to web design. All websites that I have done for myself is my made, and I was doing it for others as well. But none of that was successful financially, I can say, because I don't know how to do business, but I know how to do other stuff. And also, it wasn't something that I was completely passionate about. Then, when things were just not working out for me, when I just couldn't get finances from what I was doing, I felt guidance to start coaching because I realized that I was already doing it from very early age when I was a child. I was coaching adults when I was a child. I was coaching my mom when she had trouble. So I was parenting my mother. So, and I have that energy that people feel safe talking with me. That's why when I was like 15 years, 10 years old, adults come with their problems, random adults that I see for the first time, and they just start telling their problems. And I'm like, I didn't ask you. Why are you telling me all of this? So I realized that I have this quality that really is helping. So I started coaching. I learned about it, I practiced, and I started doing it. So now I'm in the coaching industry for the last 3 years, and now I'm again on shifting because I realized that even though I am good in coaching on such topics as relationships, as connection to self, I realized that my passion, what I really want to help people about, is mysticism, is exactly all of those intangible experiences that I went through, that I developed within myself, like telepathy, like reading the thoughts, understanding the emotions of other people just by feeling those in my own body. Then prophetic dreams, like so many things that I could speak about. And that's what I want people to experience, because by connecting with ourselves, we are connecting to God. And I can say I had spiritual awakening in 2018, and because I didn't have anybody to help me to understand spirituality, I thought that I was going crazy. I thought I will end up in mental hospital if I open my mouth to speak about what was happening with me, all of those spiritual experiences. So I was hiding my story for very long. That the visions that I had, the messages that I heard in the middle of the day, the prophecy that I received in many different ways. And now, as I feel confident about my experiences, finally, I'm not doubting that. I feel like I'm ready to teach others, also be that support that I didn't have.
Uh-huh. So if someone also is having such visions or messages, you can help them through.
Yes, and also my intention is to help those who are not having, but they would like to. Because those visions and understanding the invisible world helps to live life that we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm started 2 years ago to do Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation. I don't know if you heard
Yes.
about him. Yeah, and I had no mystical experience whatsoever.
Not at all.
So I feel like I want to have something.
What if
So this is what you can help with, right?
indeed I really can help with that? And I want to say to you that what if you had a mystical experience, you just didn't recognize that it was a mystical experience?
And how can I know that?
It's by learning how to tap into your heart and leave the mind outside of the experience, because the mind judges what is mystical, what is not mystical. But when you feel what is mystical, then there's no doubt about it. Maybe you had some sensations in your body while you were meditating, but you were so mentally focused on something else that you couldn't see that the energy was actually flowing through your body, and by giving you sensations in certain parts of your body was actually for you a message about what is happening with you energetically, because the right side of the brain is the feminine energy while the left side is the masculine. When it comes to the body, it's opposite. Right is masculine and left is feminine. So getting in touch with the body already you can know a lot about yourself, what is happening.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how I'm like, what am I supposed to, like, do I need to remember all the experiences I went through and then reassess them, or I should pay attention in the future?
Uh, don't go back, just have this information in mind and stay as present as possible and connect it to your physical body. Like, what do I feel now?
Mm-hmm. Okay, this takes me to what you were saying, that you were trying to feel safe, and you were looking for a relation that can give you this feeling of being safe, and then you were able to find safety in your heart.
Yeah.
So how is this possible? Because this can solve the problem of many human beings who are not feeling safe, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I love what I do, and that's, you just touched a very important story in my life. That spiritual awakening that started happening in 2018. Actually, it started in 2017 when I met a man, but I was living still in ignorance about spirituality. I was sleeping at that time. So in 2017, I met a guy. We met on the dance floor, and during the day, while dancing with him, I had a vision. Like butterflies with transparent wings and colorful frames were popping out in my vision, like first small, then becoming big, first small, then becoming big, and many of those started popping up. And I was laying on the shoulder of that partner, and I was just enjoying what I was viewing. I was in complete pure meditational state during that dance. And then all butterflies suddenly disappeared, and one small started becoming bigger, 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 very big. And then I heard a message. Oh God, am I going to tell it out loud? The message was, he's the one. And I pushed him back.
Ah.
I got freaked out because that man would be the last person on earth that I would ever look to. Not my type, not my taste, nothing, like, no, zero attraction. I was like, okay, Lily, you're going crazy. And he asked me, what's up? What happened? I told him what I saw, but I never told him what I heard. And after that, 1 year passed. And after 1 year, when I was desperate with God in the dance hall at night, was close to my home, because I was feeling all kind of chaos emotions within myself, because I was still suffering after 2 years after my breakup. Oh my God, I was still, no, 1 year after breakup, I was still, no, 2 years, yeah, 2 years after my breakup, I was still in very heavy feelings about it, and I started yelling on God. I danced the shit out of myself back then, and I stopped and I started screaming at him, like, what are you doing with my life? I asked you for the partner because I was consciously manifesting what I want next, what kind of person. And I was visualizing, I was feeling, and I was like, God, 2 years passed. And I don't see neither one candidate that could be. And my priority, one of first priorities, was that first friendship, and then from friendship we level up to the romantic one. And I was like, God, 2 years passed and I have no male friend. And then I got the answer, Lily, stop. And those answers came by the thought that I know that is not my thought. And okay, and then the thoughts follow. Look around. who stayed. Because I had many guys come and leave, come and leave. And that guy from a year ago that I had a vision about, he stayed. And he became my best friend. And then I had that huge spiritual awakening when I realized, oh my God. And as a result of that, all my spiritual abilities started developing. I became very into spirituality thanks to that experience.
Okay, this guy that you got this vision that he's the one.
Yeah.
Do you mean by a male friend? Do you mean a love relationship or just friendship?
At that time, when I got that vision and I was told, I was not sure what it's all about because it was so much out of the blue and the guy is not my style. So I started going against God, against what I was told, because no, it's not true. She's not my guy. She's not the one because he's not attractive. But after 1 year, I realized that it was that message, that he's the one, that he's my manifestation. Because look, Lily, everything you asked in your next partner, you find in him, except one thing that was missing, but all the rest was already in place.
Okay, but you are talking about a love relationship, like
Yes.
not just friendship. Okay, and then you became together?
No, we stayed friends, and that where my confusion started coming, my control issues. I wanted to make it as God told me, like he's the one, and I just ruined the friendship, and we split different ways, and he has his own life now, I have my own. And that was for me a lesson that you referred to. I became obsessed about that relationship, about that connection with him, about that friendship, because that man knew all about me from top to bottom. I never opened up to anybody to the extent that I opened up to him. And interestingly enough, I never felt judged. So imagine when you can be yourself fully and a person doesn't judge you for your shadow, for your mistakes. It's such a comfort zone, right? So, and it's very obsessive. I wanted that experience to feel safe in my life. And I associated that safety only with that person. So when that person was gone, that's when my major lessons started happening. I was like, wait a second, but that's toxic. I can't depend on another person to make me feel safe. That's my responsibility to make myself feel safe. So then I started questioning myself, why am I not feeling safe? And all the psychology, everything, I applied my coaching to myself. And as I like to say, my inner coach, whose name is Jesus, always was present. He was always giving me those questions, helping me to realize many things about myself.
But I still don't understand, how can you find safety in your heart?
Okay, so safety in my heart, the way I found it is seeing every of my emotion as my child. So how would I treat my child when my child comes angry, when she comes sad, when she comes afraid? So I started really taking care of my emotions, how I feel. First, paying attention, because it's not that easy to catch yourself when you are experiencing the emotion. Then, to identify what exactly am I feeling. And that's the difficulty that I experience while working with people. It's very hard for people to identify what exactly they are feeling. And then, when I identify what I'm feeling, then I go into the depth of why, what is the root cause, what's behind that feeling. So I just started changing mental talks about myself. Instead of being self-critical, I started speaking like a mother would speak to a child, like a correct mother would speak to a child. And just develop that healthy relationship with my heart that, hey, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. How can I support you to feel better? What do you need? I started paying more attention to, hey, what are my needs? Because I never even have such thought. Okay, but what do I need now? Because I was always taking care of what other people needed. And when I wasted my energy, when I found myself depleted, that was also the moment that, no, I need to listen how I feel and what I need. So that's how I found comfort, and I learned how to use my voice to speak my truth, to say no, to just to set boundaries by being truthful with people.
Okay. And
One more thing I want to mention, I forgot. Another way what it means to find safety in the heart is making peace with difficult emotions. It's important not to judge difficult emotions. When I accepted the suffer, that people suffer as a good experience, I started feeling safer.
But we are human beings, and definitely we are created to be in groups. So, this ability to find everything within myself is not actually how we are designed. Or you disagree?
I like your point of view, and that's something that I came into awareness recently, and that's why the name of a butterfly that I was coaching upon, it was Better First Love Yourself. I realized that that stage of mine is over when I connected to myself, when I trust myself. Now I'm ready to connect with other people. And yes, we are designed to be together and to be in groups, in society, in communities, and support one another. But in order to do that, I strongly believe that first must come connection to self.
Yeah, but then you need to find also people around. Like you need to, let's say, create healthy connections.
Yes,
Around.
but how are you going to create healthy connections if you don't know what is healthy for you?
Yeah, but I totally agree with you that I need to go within and be good with myself first. But then let's come to the how to find the one. Like you had this vision, you thought that was the one. It turned out that he just have friendship feelings. And so what is now your plan for your life partner, let's say?
Well, I still have the list of qualities, what I'm looking for in my partner. And that's how manifestation works. That's how we co-create world. Because I took the example of my past relationship that ended eventually. I took it as a reference. I was like, okay, imagining those situations that I didn't feel good in that relationship, and I reversed opposite. I was like, okay, so if that felt shitty, then how would it feel if my man is not running away from a conflict, but stays in the room and even says, okay, Lily, what's up? I see that like something is bothering you. Let's talk. Oh my God, I had chills in my body. It felt so good because I never had that experience. And I dreamt, I was daydreaming, I was creating that portrait like that. And I still do that. I still remember what I want, and I put my values my priority. I know my values, what I want now, what I value, and my non-negotiables, what I would never ever sacrifice anything for that. So that's how I know that now is my time. Actually, I will be honest, now I don't even feel like having to do anything with romantic relationships. Now I am more into showing up in life, in my career. Now I'm in the process of building my career. Romantic relationship, if comes, okay, if that person that fits my list, okay. If no, I'll continue doing continuing doing me and helping others and enjoying life in the process.
Okay, we didn't talk about your family, and it seems that you also didn't, like, they took care of you when you were having all the challenges that you were born with. But then you said that you saw that they are not a good representation of Jesus' teachings. So,
Yeah, what about that?
how is your relation? How is your relation with them now? And why you are not in your home country?
That's a very good question. Oh, actually, it was a huge healing process for me of healing my relationship with my parents, because I realized after the fact that I actually was running away from my mother, and it all was happening unconsciously because it was just too. Actually, I was running away from both of them, but now I wouldn't come back because of the mother most, because it was not a healthy marriage between me and my mom. It was pure fights, disagreements. Like, honestly, I tried to remember at least one love expression between them both, and I couldn't. I don't remember any love expression in that relationship. So I never knew what love is as the example, but I always knew what love is in my spirit. And that's what was my reason to leave, because that what is not love was too heavy burden for me to carry. And it became too heavy for me to be my mom's therapist, especially after the divorce that happened. Somehow it happened that I started knowing all the details of their marriage, and it just was too much for me. So I wanted to be happy, and that's why I chose to stay in Croatia, because really I found happiness here.
Okay, tell me about Croatia and what happiness you found. Like, why Croatia?
By the way, yeah, why Croatia? Everybody were asking me this. First, I came here with Erasmus studies. So I was Erasmus student for 5 months, and in those 5 months, I created a huge circle of friends, because literally, Teresa, when I moved into no, when I was studying here, I was enjoying every single aspect of culture, of people, of dancing, because I love dancing. It's my passion, one of many passions. And I just realized that people in Lithuania are more cold, are less temperamental, are less welcoming. And I felt here as at home. So I followed my heart. My heart told, it's your home. And when people started bombarding me with the same question, hey Lily, why are you still here when everybody's leaving? One day I asked myself in solitude, Lily, but really, what is the reason why? And again, the thought that was not mine, out of the blue, I heard the answer, because he is here. And I was like, what? Who? Who here? Your man is here. I'm like, really? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
So that's why you are still here. How many years later? Like 6 or
9?
9? Oh,
Yeah.
you actually came at the same. I came here 2014. So
My Erasmus was in 14. Yeah.
no. So we are here the same period of time.
Yeah.
And now I would like to see life through your eyes if you allow me.
Sure, go.
Okay, so like something that is for me what I can't understand, and maybe you do understand. What is the point of this existence? Millions of people are coming to this life and leaving. A lot of people don't know why they are here, what is the point of it all. And if each one has his own view, and so this whole thing of existence, how do you explain it? Why you think, what do you think it is, and why is it continuing to happen again and again and again?
Good question. Why are we here, right? How I see this existence is like some kind of simulation game, I would say, because I do believe in reincarnation as well. So it's kind of a playground of children who forgot that they are children. And we are here actually to remember what love is. We are here to remember where we come from. And as older we grow, as more we are becoming authentic, if we choose actually to go that path, because some people, they continue living in ignorance. But the goal is to peel those layers off, those layers of conditioning, how society taught us, how the mind taught us. And the purpose is to remember the truth, and the truth is always the heart. And the purpose of living, why actually we have such increased number of babies, that's the theory that I got through very huge epiphany moment when I was in discussion with God, was because somebody needs to pay karma back. And karma we create even by our thought. The moment we think, somebody needs to live that, what we think. So imagine human beings that were living in the cave ages, stone ages. Their mind was very slow because they didn't have so many distractions, such development as we do have now. The speed that our mind works now is incredible. And that's why there is that need to slow down, to remember that peace. And that's why all of those meditations come. Because hyperactive mind created hyper many karmas that somebody needs to relive, to fulfill.
So what does this mean? If I think of something, like I had a thought that I want a better life, then someone has to be born to make a better life?
If you don't, then yes. Because also the thought combined with the action. The thought with the action. For example, if I pass by a homeless person, a beggar, and I judge that person, probably he never worked anything, he's an alcoholic and so on, that's it. The moment I have that thought, somebody needs to pay it back. So we are creating more homeless people because we are judging. So we are getting that, what we judge. So again, the point of...
So when you had this thought, just a second, when you had this thought, this homeless man, he never worked a day in his life, you have more people are being born and they are homeless?
They are going to end up being homeless. Or whether in war, they will be we will have more wars in the world that will make more people homeless. Uh, yeah, or in any other way that people will get homeless. Who knows, maybe like third world war will happen, and then half of the world will be homeless. But again, that's for me how I see. It's always a call to remember to live from the heart, because that's the mind that judges. The mind, oh, I see, and the mind says, oh, I know. But what the heart knows. So as more we live from the heart, as more we create heaven on earth.
I don't know if I'm trying to adapt your view, so I'm trying to see life through the way you explain it. And if we are like, the reason why this experience of existence is going on, because we need to connect with the heart and we need to realize that love is everything. When I look at the history of humanity, I don't see any improvement.
You don't see love? Improvement in love?
I see the human struggle is the same since the world started. There is always all kind of emotions like jealousy, hate, love, kindness, and everything and the opposite, you know? It all exists at all times.
Yes, and that's the beauty of love, that suffer is also love. There is love in every emotion, because love is all that is. So can you see that suffer and still hold love in your heart? Can you have compassion and love for those who cause suffer to other people? Can you see their trauma and still feel love for them?
So now you are at this stage where you feel love to all the experiences of suffering that you go through.
I will not lie, I also go through the stages of anger, rage that I recently had, and but I'm at the stage when I allow myself to accept it all and eventually to come back to love. Because on the mind level, I know that. But to experience love on the heart level, this is a journey. So I just want to say that it's okay to feel everything. And that's how it should be. But when we come back...
And it will continue.
Will, but the balance we can achieve. And actually, I don't even want to put limits, because now my mind says that it's supposed to be like this or like that, but I don't know. Maybe we will develop into that level of consciousness when there will be no suffer anymore, when people will suddenly awake to the truth. So I leave open doors.
But do you see progress?
I do. Oh, I do. And all of this, what is happening now in the world, all the tragedies and wars and cataclysms, actually is serving for love, because it pushes us back to the roots of the matter. And what matters is our Mother Nature. Instead of being so digitalized and modern and so on, all of those structures are falling apart, falling down, and it must fall down in order to push us back to our roots, to remember what our Mother Nature is, and to show us how much we are destroying it. So we destroy ourselves. So all the negative, let's say, that people see the negative, what is happening, I see it as positive, because it changes the processes in life. And now I see beautiful change, because I am in that environment of people who are young people. They are buying lands now that are fertile. They are creating plans to live in communities, to help one another. They are creating projects to support one another. I see the good that is happening as a result of the bad one.
Okay. And what about what will happen to us after we die?
I want to ask you, how do you think what happens?
I just watched yesterday, there is now in the cinemas this movie called After Death. And so it's actually a Christian movie, okay? But they're not, it's not like so clear it is Christian because they try to make it for everyone. They so they have near-death experiences and people sharing their stories. Some of them had, like you could say, had heaven experiences, and some of them had hell experiences. But I don't know. Tell me what like, do you have a vision of, or like, or you don't know at all?
Actually, I watched so many documentary movies like that, near to death experiences, that gives me the sense of knowing, I guess. Okay, how I see that when we leave this 3D costume, let's say like that, we come back to source. That is one. It's not the religion, it's one source. And the travel to that source depends on the minds, on the thoughts that are present when the soul leaves the body. So if a person during the lifetime accumulated many negative thoughts, and it resulted, of course, naturally in negative behavior, hurtful behavior, then that person will need to go through their own hell in order to reach the source, the light. So all of those fears will rise up. Insecurities, judgments. They will go through review of their own actions, and they will experience those emotions of others that they hurt. And that will be the hell for them, to see how much they hurt others. So that's my belief. And during one meditation, that was a very accidental meditation, I was pulled actually into the cosmos, and I can confirm what people who had near to this experience are saying, that outside there is only huge, huge unconditional love. You feel like home. And when I came back into my body, I opened my eyes and I needed 15 minutes to adapt, because this life felt so fake, so plastic, so different. It's not the home. But I don't want people to finally go and suicide themselves, because that's not the solution. Because the action that you live with, because the action that you live with will cause how your next life will look like. So not the best solution. Is we can find that home within. And my message to the world is that home within is our heart.
So the way you feel can control how it will be after you die.
Yes.
And your level of consciousness as well.
Yes.
But this makes me feel sorry for people who didn't get the chance to know about all this knowledge. There are people who are in, let's say, very far countries, or very isolated, closed with their culture, and they just they are present in the way they were raised, and how their societies are, and they just, like, they didn't choose their level of conscious, let's say.
Yes, and also I want to say, because all is one, then I would ask you, how did you participate in co-creating that experience that other people don't have opportunity to?
I didn't participate at all.
You think so? But if we are all one,
I just came to life and I found things like that. And even when you try to make someone realize a better life, sometimes I feel it is so difficult because they are on a certain level, they just can't understand what you're talking about.
yes, yes, and it's usually our parents. I can say it like that, because we are meant, generationally, we are meant to uplevel the consciousness. And some generations, they are just simply not capable to follow that development. And it's okay. You can't take everybody with you in the ship to avoid the storm. No. Those people are our great teachers, showing what is not okay, how is not okay to live. And we are those people showing them the better way to live.
Yeah,
So
but still life is not easy, right?
it's, well, it has those human messiness, but I would say it depends on you how you choose to look at it. And how you choose to look at it will cause you to feel a certain way.
So it's a perspective.
Yes, and again, it's the mind. And that's one of ways how you participated in those people who are imprisoned without the knowledge. Who knows, maybe in your past life, you created so many thoughts about prisoners, about dumb people who are like probably not able to be enlightened. Maybe you were a very egocentric spiritual person. And now with those thoughts, we have the result of more people being imprisoned in those cultures. So I just wanted to point it out that who knows, maybe we all not maybe, I have a feeling that we all participated in what we have now. And it's our responsibility and our accountability to change that by changing what we think and how we feel.
Okay. And now, how do you see the future? Or do you think about the future at all? Or it's not maybe a good idea to do so?
Well, I love daydreaming still, and I am always future oriented daydreamer. Somebody should give me a license actually for that diploma. So, definitely, I would encourage everybody to dream about the future that you want to see and live, and apply those manifestational principles. Envision, see it in your mind, and feel it in your heart. As more you do that, as more you know what you are going towards. This is your north node. Because if you never have a vision of the future, you're walking in circles and end up in the same spot at the end. So definitely go for it. My future, how I want this world to be, is exactly what I'm working now by helping other people. I want that our future is more heart-centered, that people are more vulnerable with one another. Because we have so many fears of opening up, of expressing how we feel. All the problems in relationships, in politics, everywhere is because of being afraid to tell the truth.
But sometimes you tell the truth, the other person tell his truth, but no one understand the other. Because each one is so much into his truth that he just can't get the other person.
Yeah, but then the question is, are you telling the truth to get what you want, or are you telling your truth just to express your heart? You see? Because if you don't need anything from that person to follow your beliefs, to do what you want, you will not be offended by a different truth that that person has. So then you will be able to feel that, okay, we can agree to disagree and we live with peace.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So tell me, if someone wants to connect with you, where they can follow you, what are you doing now?
Actually, Teresa, you caught me on my transitional period when I'm still waiting for my guidance about what's next, because I thought that I knew, but by the way how I felt, I realized that it was not that. So for now, people can find me in my old Facebook page, Life is Better When You Fly, and there I will share about the next platform, because I will delete that one and I will start something new. But for now, people can find me in or betterfly.today or Life is Better When You Fly on Facebook.
Okay, we'll leave a link in the description.
Yes.
I'm curious about how you see healthy living. Are you into this at all, or you just eat whatever?
No. I am in the process of getting healthier and healthier, and this is one of spiritual awakening stages, one of a few, is realizing how I treat my body. And I have my vision board. I put on my vision board that I want to eat naturally grown products that are without any pesticides, just pure taste, natural taste. And that's how I envision. I envision more people working with Mother Nature rather than against her. And in communities, helping one another.
But in Croatia, or in Zagreb, where do you get your produce from?
There are people, farmers, who collect the orders and then they deliver on Friday, let's say. They make delivery. And actually, you see, COVID was the reason for this to happen. Everything good comes out of the bad. So evil always serves the good.
So I wouldn't know about it if it wasn't for COVID.
Yes, people wouldn't do this business like delivering to people straight to home if not COVID.
I like this view of how, and this is what I try to do actually, is to see the good even in the bad.
Yes, and in the Bible also it is written somewhere that protect your mind. It's so important to protect your mind from the perspectives of other people, because it poisons immediately. And I will give you example. Actually, I didn't touch upon that, but how important is to take care of oneself, and how important is spirituality, and to get to know yourself through spiritualities. Because imagine one day I was going next to my friend in the group of our friends, and suddenly I got freaked out of nowhere, and I had a thought that ex-boyfriend of my friend will show up and we will see him. And my friend, she had a very terrible relationship with him, and she was paranoid about meeting him. And I just vocalized it. I was like, oh, I have a feeling we will meet him. And she started screaming, like, what are you saying? Why do you say that? And then I stopped myself. I was like, what just happened? And my friend told that she just had the thought because she saw a volleyball square where guys were playing, and she remembered that her ex used to play a volleyball, and she got freaked out that she might see him. And I channeled all the information, her thoughts and her emotions. I was a physical manifestation of what she was feeling and what she was thinking. And that was for me another awakening moment when I asked myself, so how much of my life actually was manifestation of lives of other people? So how my energy feels like? What are my thoughts? What are my emotions?
So you need to be careful about who's around you and how they are thinking.
Yes, and stay present with yourself. Is it your thought? Is it your feeling or not? And the heart is that which tells you.
So we come back to the heart again. Yes. Lily, I'm really happy that I documented your life story in the Scrapbook of Life, and also I was able to see life through your view, and I rediscovered new things today, which I'll probably be reflecting on in coming episodes. You have final thoughts?
May I ask you, I'm very curious, what is your biggest takeaway from what you heard today?
So I think what was new is this idea that our thoughts manifest people. That I don't think I heard this before.
Me neither.
So yeah, it's I'm still, I need to process it, still.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your story and also how you see life. I like the way you see life, and I'm still not sure I will adopt it. I'm glad it is helping you to live a better life.
Definitely does help me. And those who resonate with what I shared, I'm here also to help to assist to move forward in that direction.
Okay, thank you. On my journey to understand life, I would like to meet you and document your life story in the Scrapbook of Life. Send a summary of the story to the email in the description box or the show notes. Just few requirements. You need to be over 40 years old, you changed your belief, and you have answers to the mysterious questions of life. This journey of mine started when I met Wang Zongyang in a documentary film, and you can watch it below. My thirst to answers is pushing me to discover and meet more people who are living this life experience to the best possible way, through their own belief. Who is next? And which belief? I'm open to all possibilities.